Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Friday, 4th October 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Port strike in just over 35 U.S. ports can have devastating consequences to the region. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. With thousands of port workers taking industrial action in 36 ports in the United States, particularly those on the East Coast, concern was raised over the impact of the strike action on getting goods and material from the United States into St. Kitts and Nevis in time for the Christmas and Carnival periods. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
While some small and medium-sized retailers have expressed concern over products not being available because of shipping issues, they were also concerned that prices on some products might increase. However, an official representing one of the largest shipping companies operating from the United States into St. Kitts and Nevis and other Caribbean destinations told SK Newsline that tropical shipping operations from Miami to the Caribbean is not being affected by the U.S. strike by port workers who are part of the International Longshoremen's Association. The port workers went on strike today, 1st October, on the East and Gulf Coast ports. The strike is described as choking the flow of imports and exports, being one of the most disruptive in decades in the United States. It is believed that a long strike will have multiple consequences in the months ahead, affecting several sectors of the U.S. and international economies. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline. Addressing the audience, inclusive of St. Kitts and Nevis's Governor General Dame Marcella Liebert, policymakers and other stakeholders, the speakers addressed various components that lead to the achievement of progress in building out better ICT infrastructure that will benefit citizens of the region.
I urge that we focus on what we can do differently. That is, it's not a call to abandon national initiatives. On the contrary, it's a call to support national implementation within a regional framework that lends itself to greater investment, economies of scale, shared expertise, shared infrastructure, and a shared advocacy in the region and international forums. There is power, there is great power in the combined efforts if we want to go far and fast and reap the successes we envisage individually and regionally.
Our digital transformation program is consistent with our national thrust to make St. Kitts and Nevis a sustainable island state. As part of this initiative, we are focusing on honing our cybersecurity and cloud strategies, expanding and strengthening our digital infrastructure. Importantly, implementing a national electronic identification system, EID, scaling up the delivery of e-government services, promoting digital innovation and pursuing digital literacy to ensure that no citizen is left behind. An essential component of our digital transformation governance arrangement is the involvement of all sectors of society in shaping our common digital future. I would like to
what impacts one of us affects all of us. Island nations often rely on a single submarine cable connection, and that makes them vulnerable to disruptions. So we can't afford to leave international internet traffic to chance. That's why ITU is partnering with ICPC to establish an advisory group for submarine cable resilience. And we want to make sure that the Caribbean plays a vital role in shaping the right conditions for investing in resilient digital infrastructure. From subsea cables to satellites, let's work together to secure reliable connectivity for Caribbean economies and communities everywhere.
The Caribbean Telecommunications Union was mandated by CARICOM heads of government to spearhead ICT development that would also be of benefit on national fronts. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Antigua and Barbuda are set to see increased airlift, with several more flights to be added in the coming months. ABS's Shanakisha Francis reports.
Antigua and Barbuda is set to welcome an unprecedented wave of air arrivals this winter season as airlines ramp up their flight schedules to meet soaring demand. The Twin Island Paradise, already a favorite destination for sunseekers, will see a dramatic increase in flights with multiple arrivals scheduled daily and some services available every day of the week.
American Airlines, that's where I think the biggest success has been. 2 flights daily out of Miami, daily out of New York. This winter season, for the first time, daily flights out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Delta, for the first time ever this winter season, daily flights out of Atlanta. Also WestJet, twice daily now all year round from Canada. United as well will go daily in the winter season out of New York, New Jersey.
Notably, direct flights from London will be arriving more frequently.
We are seeing British Airways daily from London this winter season and Virgin going up to 4 flights a week. So we are really loading up the airlift, and I think that's good business, it's good news. When the visitors come to St. John's, the taxi associations benefits, the merchants benefit, and everybody benefits.
James says there will also be direct flights from Frankfurt, Germany.
Condor will be touching down back in Antigua again, direct flights from Frankfurt, Germany, and really opened up the Central European market for us. Austria, Germany, northern part of Italy, all those folks will be able to connect the direct flight from Europe into Antigua and Barbuda starting this year again.
He says Liat 2020, Sunrise Airlines, and other regional carriers have also opened up a lot of the Windward Islands that were closed off during the absence of Liat 1974 Limited. Shanakisha Francis, ABS News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
AmCham TT calls on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to provide more details on the CL Financial bailout. Andrea Perez Sobers tells us more in CNC3 Business Watch.
Finance Minister Colm Imbert announced that the government would sell the state's 49% shareholding in the insurance company CLICO in the 2025 fiscal year, which began today. However, AmCham TT wants further details on this development so that the public is aware of the facts and details. AmCham TT says it supports divestment of assets that would be better managed by the private sector. On its budget response, the business group thanked the government for outstanding VAT refunds and has acknowledged that the manner in which this was done for the major energy companies in the past had unintended negative effects. With regards to the push to renewables, AmCham TT had hoped there would have been clear timelines for a feed-in tariff policy and legislation, as this could have the most significant impact on households and businesses moving towards renewable power.
Opposition walks out of the Jamaican Parliament after refusal of no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. TVJ's Andrea Chisholm reports.
When opposition leader Mark Golding rose to move the motion, House Speaker Juliet Holness excused herself from the sitting, leaving her deputy Heroy Clark to preside over the matter. That's because Mrs. Holness is the wife of the Prime Minister.
Whereas there is a ministerial code of conduct in place from 2002 that governs the conduct of members of the cabinet, and whereas the Prime Minister did not inform the people of Jamaica that he was being investigated by the integrity.
Please. I don't even need to hear another word. If the member in any way intends to go down a road that is, you can't understand if you don't listen. Permit yourself to use your ears and not your mouth. If it is that the member intends to travel down a road that is going to breach the standing orders in raising matters, let me just say it before, that are sub judice. Hold on, I'm just telling you, that cannot be accommodated in this house. So if that is the route, if that is the intention, stop now.
Member, you start on a premise, and as far as the standing order is concerned, I hear the first part of where you're going.
Deputy House Speaker Heroy Clark used Section 22(3) of the Standing Orders, stating that the motion being moved by Mr. Golding is out of order. He also used the UK Parliamentary Handbook Erskine May to state that matters before the courts cannot be raised in a motion. On Monday, attorneys for the Prime Minister filed a suit in the Supreme Court seeking judicial review on the decisions made by the Integrity Commission. Back to the parliamentary sitting.
Because there is a matter now under judicial consideration, it ought not to be discussed as it is sub judice. At this time, I am now ruling that this motion will not be entertained.
Mr. Speaker, you've indicated this matter is sub judice. I'm not aware of that. However, what this motion engages is simply a matter of a breach of the ministerial code of conduct by the Prime Minister.
And with that, the opposition walked out of the House and took the no confidence motion to the streets, arguing that the Prime Minister breached the ministerial code of conduct.
Be it resolved that this Honourable House condemns the Prime Minister for not maintaining ethical standards of transparency and openness in government. Secondly, censures the Prime Minister for his acts of covering up and concealment of the names, including his own, of those members of the Cabinet and or Parliament of which he was and may still be aware, but has kept them in positions of influence in the Cabinet with the effect of further undermining public trust in the institutions of government. And declares that the actions of the Prime Minister have severely undermined his credibility and trustworthiness, and that he no longer enjoys the confidence of this House.
The opposition claims the plan was to table the motion today and debate it at the next sitting. But the motion is not before the House.
For them to block the opposition from bringing a motion on the alleged basis that the matter is sub judice is really, in my view, a bad and sad day for our democracy. Again, it's an example of freedom of speech, freedom of association, our democratic principles being undermined by the misuse of power by the majority in Parliament.
Andrea Chisholm, TVJ News.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our
Tillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.